guys, this is Hayden Hurst, NFL tight end. I'm partnering today with Red Recover. We're going to run you guys through some drills. I started using Red Recover last year, my 4th year in the NFL. It just helps me on Mondays after games, get my recovery process started, get back into the fold of the week, and get ready for the following Sunday. If you want to recover like me, use Red Recover.
Oh, great. You got a doorbell camera. Now you got a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
No.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Get out of my house!
Ooh, Mom's jewelry. There goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, a free doorbell camera.
Free?
One that'll actually work for you. It's not total security unless it's the Sloman Shield. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Sports Talk 305 network is back. It's time to talk Miami Dolphins football with the greatest fan base in the world. EJDconstruction.com is fully insured, liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. This is the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Postgame Show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Here's your host, the Big O.
Oh, man, what can I tell you? This is as disappointing, embarrassing, despicable, just a king-size choke job by the offense of the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa. You know, Burrow played well. He wasn't really anything when you really look at it. He put up 367 yards and can only throw one touchdown. You know, I mean, he did enough to win. They won by 6 points, and the Dolphin offense played like absolute dog shit. You know, Herbert did enough to win, and I know that they massaged him and everything, and he showed up. I got to give him credit. He showed up, and Tua choked. Okay? That's all. There's no more left. Tua choked like a dog is what happened. He choked like a dog last week. He choked like a dog this week. For whatever reasons, whether it's trying to win for McDaniel last week or you didn't perform this week, you clearly needed Viagra, but you were flaccid for 2 weeks. It's despicable. It's disgusting. Okay, that's it. Wake the hell up, because you now just fed all of the negativity back to all the people that doubted you, all the people that thought you can't play. Now they're going to question you, and now they got everything to back it up, because the last 2 weeks on big-time games on the road, Tua has peed in his pants. There's no other way of putting it. None. I love Tua. Okay? I still believe he's going to be a great player. But if you're going to be a great player, you got to have these kind of moments sometimes. We're going to see what happens, because I have zero confidence that they can win in Buffalo now. Zero confidence. And those of you out there, let me tell you something. You got to stop with this Josh Boyer stuff. They're doing the best that they can, dude. Look, here you go. For those of you out there that want to pick on Josh Boyer, all right? Last week, San Fran had the ball 79 times, 79 plays. Miami 45. Time of possession, 40 minutes and 34 seconds for San Francisco. For Miami, 19:26. Today, 78 plays. One less play. They made progress today. 78 plays that the defense had to be on the field. You know how many times Miami put their defense on the field? 49. 4 better than last week. Yay. Time of possession, 39-38 for the Chargers. 20 minutes and 22 seconds for the Dolphins. They had it for 1 extra minute this week. Yay. Dude, this defense does the best it could do. It's as I told people out there, the Miami Dolphins are 8-5, and all 5 losses are on the offense. The 3 games without Tua and the 2 games now with Tua. There are no excuses on this show. Okay? If we're right, we're right. If we're wrong, we're wrong. We're going to tell you. All right? And I'm not telling you that I've given up on Tua or anything like that. I believe in Tua. But I'm not going to shy away from the fact that he absolutely sucked the last 2 games. And he looked like he choked like a dog in these 2 games, because you cannot be that off 2 weeks in a row by accident. That is whatever. You brain farted here for the last 2 weeks. I don't know what the hell happened to him, but he doesn't look confident. He doesn't look like he's in a groove. He doesn't look like anything like that. But to blame the defense at any point this season is asinine. The only reason they're 8-5, it's all on the offense. For whatever reason, that you have not lost 1 game because you said, oh my God, dude, the defense just sucked the entire time. The offense really did their job. You never said that, because all 5 losses, we sit back and go, God damn it, the offense sucked. Stop blaming Josh Boyer and the defense, okay? Mike McDaniel did not do a good job with the 3 games. He couldn't win 1 of those games without Tua. And these last 2 weeks, whether Armstead played today, that excuse is not there. Tyreek's got an ankle injury. He still outran everybody for a couple of touchdowns. Waddle had an ankle injury, but he was playing. So let me ask you something. What the hell did you sign Cedric Wilson for? If you use linemen as extra guys, why isn't Cedric Wilson and why isn't Trent Sherfield a bigger part? Why isn't Mike Gesicki a bigger part? That's your job, Mike McDaniel. That's your job, Tua. At the beginning of the game, you're forcing it and forcing it and forcing it. You're throwing it to Tyreek with 3 and 4 guys around it. I'm going, well, what the hell is this? That's not smart football. If there's 3 or 4 guys around Tyreek, something tells me there can't be 3 or 4 guys around everybody else. I don't know. I'm just doing the math. I'm not really smart, by the way. Okay, but adding and subtracting I can kind of do. If there are 3 or 4 guys around Tyreek, well, I'm sorry, somebody else has got to be open. I don't know what the hell is going on with Tua the last 2 weeks, but he is completely out of complete rhythm, character, whatever it is, confidence, groove, whatever you want to call it. But he put up 2 choking ass performances in the last 2 weeks. And to blame the defense at any point this season is asinine. Every loss has to do with the offense. Why did you lose today? Today they played like shit and they lost by 6 points. Same thing last week. Played like crap, and you lost. All the way to the end, you had a chance, but your offense can never pull you through. It's really amazing. It's it's just one of those things that I don't get. So please, at least don't blame the defense anymore. It's pretty obvious, what's happened in the 5 games of those losses. It's so obvious what's happened in those 5 games. And it's all on the offense. Mike McDaniel, apparently he and Tua only went through 90 of the 700 plays. You got more material for motivation. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what you got to do. Become Zig Ziglar again. I don't know, Tony Robbins. I don't know what you want to do, but, start the motivation. Get back into the lab with Tua and show him the other, 610 plays you've got left there in the library. Somehow or another, Stella's got to find her groove. Because Stella lost her groove. But Stella's got to find her groove somehow, some way. Those of us that, listen, we had plenty of ammo. Tua was flinging it all over the place. We're feeling good. I got a house in Arizona. Super Bowl week. We're feeling great. But last 2 weeks, we can't feel great. We can't defend. We can't make excuses either. We don't do that on this show. So you got to wake up, Tua. It's up to you, bro. Mike McDaniel, I'm calling you out now. Shit's hit the fan, buddy. You've lost 2 in a row. You had Armstead this week. Where's the excuses? That guy toughed it out, put a harness on and everything to lose, to play like shit. And where Cedric Wilson, because of Tyreek, has become the most expensive fair catch dude in the NFL. But why aren't you using him if Tyreek's injured? Sherfield's out there. Use him. Aren't you a play designer? Tua, aren't you a quarterback? I'm not here to make excuses for people. Okay? I'm not here to do that. I'm going to call things like I see it. Just like I told you a year and a half ago, you needed to trade X. Trade him now. Did I not say that? Now Cater Kohou's better than X. That's some scary stuff right there. Cater Kohou is a better player than Xavier Howard right this second. Did you watch Cater Kohou play today? Played his ass off. Knocking fools out, hitting guys right when you get right on the sideline there, and he decked that dude right into the out of bounds. No. You're just because you're standing right there, you didn't go out of bounds. I'm still tagging your ass. He hit the other guy in the open field on 4th down. Boy, Cater Kohou, man. Xavier Howard allows you to get past him, and then he forgets to tackle. Oh, my God. It's crazy. It was a wacky night, man. Wacky night. You wanted a big performance from the quarterback. You wanted the Dolphins to answer back. You want all the Tua stuff to kind of die. Now, guess what? Same old Dolphins, right? That's what you get because last 2 weeks, they shit on their pants. You needed to win these games. You lost these games. You could have won both games if your offense showed up, if your offensive coordinator showed up, but they didn't. Can't blame the offensive line last week. I can't blame you didn't have enough talent this week. You have more than enough talent. You have extra receivers. Because you signed Tyreek, you have Cedric Wilson as a luxury. He was going to be the number 2 anyways. You were going to use him. One side of the field was going to be Cedric. The other side was going to be Waddle. And then you were going to work with whoever you're going to work with at the slot. And now everything changed. You got Tyreek that pushed Cedric back. Well, now you have injuries, push Cedric forward. But it's your fault. You got to find a way to use him. That's where McDaniel now gets criticism because he didn't keep Cedric involved enough throughout the year. And now that you need him, you don't have him really involved. You have him fair catching. That's on McDaniel, and that's on Tua. They don't use him enough. That guy, you thought highly enough of him to be a number 2 opposite of Waddle. So if you thought highly enough of him to do that, because eventually the Sherfield guy would have been the slot guy, obviously, and Craycraft could have been the other slot guy. So Cedric would have been the out. So now you get Tyreek, so now everything changes. You got to change it up a little bit. You got to mix it up, coach, quarterback. Got to get other people involved. That's what good offenses do. I get it. You got 2 guys that are super special, but they're also super banged up because you've got them carrying you the entire time. Stop putting that burden on them. By the way, Cutter's Edge Pro, a proud sponsor of our program. Check it out. Go to cuttersedgepro.com. If you're looking for landscaping, Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, 954-472-0622. You call Will, you call Mike. They do it all, tree trimming, removals, landscape design, outdoor lighting, irrigation, synthetic turf. And I did the synthetic turf at my house, and that is absolutely amazing because the dogs don't bring anything into the house. It's also in the long run, you're going to save a lot of money because you're not watering the grass and cutting it every 2 weeks like we do here in South Florida. And they do it all, folks, all over South Florida, large to medium HOAs, condominiums, corporate parks, large commercial buildings. So it's not only residential, but it's also professional out there. So if you own a company, you want to take it to the next level, landscaping will also increase the value of your home. You call them 954-472-0622. You ask for Will or Mike and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. CuttersEdgePro.com. And also go to their Instagram page. Impressive. Cutters Edge Pro on Instagram so you can see a lot of the work that they've done. It'll blow you away, man. Great stuff there from the folks at Cutters Edge Pro. You want to chime in? Of course, you got the YouTube chat board, which is exploding. The Welt and Rayom text line, another easy way for me to find questions. It's 855-912-1056. And, of course, the super chats. And you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. That is Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, we love Bitcoin donations on Cash App. So Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. All right, Sean, you want to pull up the super chats from the beginning because obviously a lot of them have come by. Let's attack these super chats here first. Let's see. Dolphins are the Zoolander of the NFL. He couldn't turn left. Tua can't throw a simple 8-yard out like it's the end of the 2018 Pennington season. Leon, I can't answer it, bro. I can't explain what the hell's going on. Like his brain went haywire and he lost. It's not like he's afraid of anything because he's running. He's diving between 2 guys for a first down. He's fearless as hell. But right now, his brain is completely haywired and he is off, dude. I can't explain. Choke jobs here. Last 2 weeks, I can't say anything but choke jobs. I can't say anything but the offense is the reason why you have 5 losses on the season. That's what I'm going to tell you. with or without Tua. I don't care what the excuses are. The offense has failed this team. This, as much as they have been exciting, they are also the liability of this team. It's funny how some of you pick on Boyer, but you can't say one of these losses are due to the defense, that the offense was fantastic, but the defense gave up. I could do that with Marino. Oh, God, do I have games with Marino? Oh, man, do I have games with Marino where the defense went to crap. And it was Marino having great games, and they gave Ken O'Brien 44 points, and Marino scored 40. And what do you want him to do? You know, he goes out and puts up 35, but you allow Richard Todd to score 38. Oh, I remember those games. Any of those? I'm sorry. Help me out, Sean. Any of those games going on with the Dolphins? Any of those? No, right? Oh, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. So next time, you know, somebody tells you, Josh Boyer, say, hey, wait a minute, and especially an older guy, wait a minute. I remember games where Marino would kick ass, but the defense and J.B. Brown and Paul Langford and all those guys were giving up way more points. When did that happen this year? When did the offense go up and kick ass and the defense failed them? When? Please explain to me. When did it happen? So let's praise the offense. Let's praise Mike McDaniel. Let's praise Tua Tagovailoa. Let's also blame. So when Tua goes out, you weren't good enough on offense to complement your defense. And now, when your defense at least is putting up a fight every week for you to win, you fail on offense. You can't show up. I just told you they had 79 and 78 plays, their opponents. Combined the last 2 weeks, they have 94. You got 17 more plays, 16, 17 more plays than your opponents do in 1 week, in 2 weeks. And what more do you want from the defense? And you've got time of possession for 39 and 39 minutes, almost 39 and a half minutes in the last 2 weeks. Your time of possession combined in the last 2 weeks, each of your opponents have 40 and 39. What the hell do you want from the defense? So let's look at things the way they are. That's what we do on this show, okay? We tell you exactly what's going on. We tell you when X, needed to be traded. We tell you when Flo needs to be fired. We tell you the tough things. Nobody will tell you, while you praise McDaniel and Tua, you must blame them for all 5 losses. Because the lazy will look at the defense, but they really won't look at what's actually going on. And what they were on defense in one game like 90-something plays. You remember that? In the short week, it was that week where they played twice in a week on a Sunday and a Thursday. And the defense in one of those games was on the field for 90-something plays. What more do you want from these guys? And they're injury-riddled. You know what I tweeted out? The offense needs to buy the entire defense and their families vacations this summer. Because they're Jekyll and Hyde, bro. Because that's who they are. Night and day. Whatever thing you want to use. Yeah, they're fantastic when they're on. And then when they're off, I don't know, that must be like Amber Heard. Right? She must have been fantastic in bed one night. And then the next night, you have a turd in your bedroom. That's the Dolphin offense. Amber Heard is the Dolphin offense. Good looking, hot, probably great sex sometimes, right? The crazy ones give you great sex. And then the next night, she's pissed at you, so she takes a dump in your bed. And that's exactly the Dolphin offense. Mike McDaniel, to everybody. Yeah, they look like Amber Heard some nights. They're working it. They're beautiful. They're sexy. And then some nights, we got a turd in the bed. The Amber Heard offense. It can look beautiful or it can look shitty. Welcome aboard to the 2022 Miami Dolphin offensive season. Yeah, baby. It's Amber Heard or turd. It's Heard or turd. Yep. That's a campaign slogan. It's Heard or turd in 2022. That's the kind of analysis that you pay for right there, ladies and gentlemen. Who else can compare the Dolphin offense to Amber Heard? But it's pretty goddamn accurate, because in 5 games this season, we've ended up with a turd in our bed. Herbert did really outclass the defense. Dude, he threw 1 touchdown in nearly 400 yards passing. He got to the red zone, and they settled for field goal after field goal. What are you talking about, dude? It was that the offense didn't show up for the Miami Dolphins. What the hell are you talking about? This was all Dennis Green. We let him off the hook. San Francisco, we let him off the hook. That's all it is. The offense didn't do their job. I'm not sure what you guys are watching. He threw for 367 yards. He completed 39 passes. He threw 51 of them for 1 touchdown. He won because he wasn't challenged at all. Tua Tagovailoa, 10 of 28, 145 yards. What are you talking about, dude? Tua went to a gunfight with a butter knife. Justin Herbert wasn't challenged at all today. He did enough, so they won. They won by 6 points. After this game looked like Miami got their asses kicked and they lost by 6 points. I mean, I'm not sure what you were watching, but I didn't see if he would have thrown 3-4 touchdowns and 400 yards, okay. But you throw 370 yards for 1 touchdown. I'm not impressed. I'm more pissed off that Tua McDaniel choked terribly for 2 weeks in a row. That's what I'm pissed off about. I'm pissed off that they serve up this defense every week when they're injury riddled and they hang in there and they do the best that they can, bro. They're trying their best. Christian Wilkins played his ass off. Jalen Phillips played his ass off. Kader Kohou played his ass off. I'm not sure what you're watching, but I wasn't. Yeah, he completed some passes, threw the ball around. They moved it, all that. But, when it came to, orgasm, yeah, it's like you worked for hours and hours and hours, and, it was one of them. If you're working hours and hours and hours, you would think there's several peaks and valleys in all of this. I'm sorry. There was a lot of teasing going on there. I give him credit. He showed up and Tua choked. I'll say that 100 times over, but please don't tell me like this was the second coming. It was 370 yards and 1 touchdown. He couldn't get into the end zone. They kept stopping him. That's what I saw. I saw an injury-riddled Dolphin team that continued to stop him from getting in the end zone. That's all right. Herbert did what he had to do to win. His good coaching prepared him with our pressure, with our quick, short and flat passes. All right, give me more of the super chats there, bro. Let's go. We gotta answer a bunch of them here. Ricardo Cuchican, thank you, sir. Disappointing, no run game. OL bad. Tua unrecognizable. Defense did a good job. This and San Francisco losses on off. No, all 5. The 3 losses also without Tua. It's all offense. It's all offense. Think about it. All 5 losses have to do everything with offense not being able to score. Whether you have Tua or you don't, I don't give a shit. The common denominator is the 5 losses are all on the offense. The defense has done enough for you to go undefeated this season. The defense has done enough for you to go undefeated this season. That's all I got to say. Ricardo, thank you for the super chat. Next up is Marino Castillo. I'm sorry, Big O, but Tua is officially a concern. He has the remainder of the season and a half of 2023 to prove the world wrong. He's injury 2 to 3 games, and he disappears 2 to 3 games. It breaks my heart. Can't argue. I'm not going to argue. I can't argue with that. I'd love to stand up for him, but brother, after these last 2 weeks, I can't stand up for you. I believe in Tua. I believe he'll fight through it, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. The proof is right there. You watched the last 2 weeks. He completely crapped in his pants. In fact, I think the company Depends is calling him now for a sponsorship. Marino, thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Next up. Chase Barrett, what do you want Tua to do? That was the worst performance by a wide receiver group I've seen. You can't find 10 plays all that game with an open wide receiver. They don't exist. Who else have I been mentioning, sir? Mike McDaniel. Last week, the receivers were open. Tua missed on them. This week, Tyreek was a little off. Some of it was his fault early on. He lost one in the lights and everything. Right? I can't blame Tua for everything. I can actually, in this game, there's a couple, you are correct. I'm going to give you a little love there on that. There are some where the receivers were a little off and screwed up some of that stuff, but in return, I have to say Tua was also making terrible decisions, forcing the ball early on into coverage where Tyreek was being covered with 3-4 guys. I don't know why. So I'm going to disagree with that part with you. This week, there were some more receivers covered than last week, but still, he had enough of them open. He never got himself in a groove to continue throwing more. That's what I said last week. Last week, there were open receivers that he missed, and if he hits those, he continues to hit more. So not only did it leave the obvious yards on the field, but then the yards that lead to after that if you continue the drive. This week, he failed to actually put together and extend almost any drive. I'm not going to give Tua the break, okay? I love Tua. I think he'll fight through it, but I can't defend what's happened the last 2 weeks. And I blame McDaniel also. I blame McDaniel today. You know you have injured receivers. Tyreek has got an injured ankle. You know that Waddle's coming off also a little bang. Well, then why aren't you using Cedric? Why aren't you using Sherfield more? Why aren't you using Gesicki more? Get them involved. So I talked about that. Next up, Sean. Lino, lack of a running game is killing us. Yeah, but they were never a running team anyway. So let's not make it sound like they were going to be running the ball on anybody and having great success. And remember, they were having some success, and Jeff Wilson then got injured. Can't do anything about that. Next up, Lino, thank you for the love in the super chat. Frankie Fresco, and now Hill injured, shaking my head, not looking good, Big O. No, it's looking terrible. I have zero confidence that they can win this week in Buffalo. On Saturday, this team that I've watched the last 2, this offense, I'm sorry, the defense can do enough maybe in Buffalo to help you win, but if the offense don't help out, forget about it. If you're going to serve them up and you're going to give Buffalo time of possession 2-1, forget about it. It's over, bro. It's done. You can't do what you've done here the last 2 weeks with time of possession and the amount of plays and everything. Now it's a short week and the defense has been served up for the last 2 weeks. It's bullshit, dude. What the offense has done to this defense is criminal. Frankie Fresco, Thank you for the love on the super chat. Next up, Paul V. Why don't we open it up to Gesicki, running backs, Wilson? Obviously, the defense is swarming Hill and Waddle. Isn't that an advantage? I'm with you, Paul V. That's why I've been blaming McDaniel here, not just Tua. I got to blame McDaniel here for what's gone on. This is his job. It's offense. The defense is doing their part again. The offense is not doing theirs. McDaniel's failed here the last 2 weeks. Not just Tua, but McDaniel. Paul V, thank you for the super chat, my brother. I appreciate you. Next up, I was going to say phone call. True Fin fan, maybe I'm wrong, but it seems to me that the coordinators have figured out that if they stuff the middle, they win. I'm sick to my stomach and furious. Yeah, they have been crowding the middle of the field. But that's your job to then counter it, right? Move the launch point. Attack more of the edges. Do something. And don't keep going deep just to go deep all the damn time. Work the intermediate. I thought sometimes they were just throwing deep. You're off. Why do you keep throwing all those deep shots? I don't get that one. Thank you, True Fin fan. Next up. Mario, if Tua doesn't rebound, do we move on? Well, I mean, let's wait. I know how I love how you guys, love to. You're probably already a hater and you were never believed in him or whatever, but I appreciate the super chat. Let's find out. He's played like shit the last 2 weeks. Let's give him a chance to. I get some of you never gave him a chance in the first place, but that's not the way I play the game. You got to give the man an opportunity, and then we'll talk down the line if failure continues. But thank you, Mario. Appreciate the super chat. Next up. P. Hills, Tua is scared back there. Why no screen passes? The O-line looks to be in trouble. If we lose to Bills, we might be out of the playoffs. Oh, they're losing to the Bills. Is this the team that's playing? They're going to get killed by the Bills. They're going to absolutely get walloped by the Bills. This is going to be a 20-point loss if this is the offense that's going to play there this Saturday. So I don't know what they want to do or what they're going to do, but Mike McDaniel better figure it out and better show us some coaching. P. Hills, thank you, bro. Appreciate it. Malkowick, Big O, I was baffled by the lack of adjustments on offense in the second half. I agree. Tua and McDaniel. Maybe McDaniel had some kind of adjustments and Tua didn't execute them or whatever, but incredibly disappointing. I'm with you. Thank you for the love in the super chat. Next up, The Truth says, once the weather is below 60, Tua's brain is freezing. Has nothing to do with that. He sucked, bro. Had nothing to do with the weather. He sucked. That's all. He was terrible. And I blame him. I don't blame no stadium. I don't blame the weather. I don't blame any of that kind of stuff. You're either a good player or you're not. Either you play well or you don't. And that's it. And he did not play well. And Herbert showed up today and did what he had to do to win. And Tua did not even come close to doing what he needed to do to win the last 2 games. Okay? He and that offense have failed miserably the last 2 weeks. Thank you. And that is the truth. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Edward Thurston Howe, worst rushing defense, and we don't run the ball. Keep the defense off the field. Play Gesicki. Darn it. The same thing against Houston. They sucked against the run, and they threw the hell out of the ball until all the injuries screwed them up on the O-line. But McDaniel does things completely different, but we'll see if this is something that humbles him a little bit. He's got to adjust. He's got to do better, and so does Tua. This is a hell of a test for Tua now. Okay? Hell of a test for Tua now. All right, next up. Topher, thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. Big O said, Amber Heard, I died. Well, it's Heard or turd, right? Some weeks we get Heard, some weeks we get turd. And that's it. What else can I tell you? Mike McDaniel's offense, Heard or turd? That'll be the poll every week now. Which McDaniel offense will show up, the Heard or the turd? There you go. Topher, thank you for the love in the super chat. Justin, We have the most bipolar fan base. 2 weeks ago, they're saying Tua MVP, number 1 seed BS. Then we have 2 bad weeks, and they want the coach fired and Tua out. Yeah, well, that's how it goes, Justin. I'm going to give these guys the benefit of the doubt. They got to figure it out, but I'm not going to give them any breaks on this. I'm not making any excuses for McDaniel and 0 for Tua. Okay? As much as I love Tua, as much as I believe in him, as much as I still think he can be a great player in this league and lead this franchise to a Super Bowl, I'm not going to make any excuses for him. And plenty of quarterbacks have, bad moments, bad times. Well, here you go, kid. Let's go. Show me what you got. We'll find out. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you. Jaden Duel, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. Appreciate you. Logan White, thank you. Thank you for the love on the super chat. Much appreciated, man. Next up, he says he sends in another one. Defenses have learned to sit in the middle and force Tua to deep. Yes, but you got to work the outsides too. Then that's what you got to do. Adjust. I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear that they figured this out, because that's what it's called. It's a chess game. They figured that out. Well, then you adjust. You didn't adjust. Well, then that's your fault. Then you're not that good. That's all. You're not that good as a coach, and you're not that good as a quarterback then. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't make excuses. I'm not doing that. You either get it done or you don't. And McDaniel, you didn't get it done today. And Tua, you certainly haven't gotten it done the last 2 weeks. It's up to you guys. Thank you, Logan. Appreciate it. Sam Cavison, thank you, sir. Chargers defense shut off the center field and Tua was done. Bills will do the same. No hope. Well, it's up to McDaniel and Tua. There's plenty of hope. Okay? Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. There's hope. There's hope. But I'm not ready to give up. I get it. I know how it is. 2 weeks, the season's over, and the world is caving in and all that stuff. And Orlando, go cancel your home in Arizona for the week of the Super Bowl. I get all of that. I understand. But I'm not ready to cave in yet. I'm not one of those people anyways. I'm kind of a fighter as it is. So I'm gonna hope that McDaniel and Tua will fight this through this and do what they got to do. But thank you, Sam. Appreciate it and understand why you feel negative about it right now. Andro Blanco, have you ever played a sport? You don't understand the game. This is how I play the game, please. That's it. Yep. When you play it well, sir, you are, your number's hanging in all rafters. Jaden, thank you, sir, again for the love on the super chat. Too kind. Thank you. Jimmy A, took 12 weeks for the NFL to break the code. Time for McD to adjust. Herbert has, even with his coach for 2+ years, not even a year for Tua and McD. Yeah, but, if San Fran really, if the middle of the field really is what you think is the problem, which I don't believe that, because he was off all over the place, not just the middle of the field. But if that's the case, that somebody else is going to try to do it the following week and the week after. You had to have a game plan for that. So that's all smoke and mirrors and a bunch of bullshit. But it's fine. It's a nice narrative that you can run with, and then the writers will run with it, and people will talk about it and all that. But it's your job as a coach to adjust to all of that. So if you're stupid enough to not adjust to it from 1 week to another, then, shame on you. So I don't really give you, McDaniel's smart enough to know that if it was really something that was affecting him, he would have to have a counter to it. That's kind of the way you play the game. So clearly that they had no counter, they deserve the blame. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate you. Cy, love all. I'm team Tua all the way, but I have a feeling we are going to look at the tape and see Tua is playing too much hero ball and not taking the simple stuff. Probably. Cy, it's pretty simple. However you slice it, Tua's playing like dog crap. whether he's forcing it here or not taking what he's supposed to, or not hitting the open guy, or missing the deep ball, or missing the middle, or whatever it is, he's playing like crap. Okay? That's it. Jaden, again, thank you, sir. Man, that's awesome. These last upcoming weeks will be very telling of the future of the offense, mainly. Can Tua get out of the slump he's in, and can McDaniel improving play calling? I have hope Tua can get out of this. I'm hoping they're with you, my brother. We shall find out. Next up is Mario. Where the hell has Chubb been? Horrible trade. Well, can't say he's producing any sacks. So far, Mario, it's not looking like a good trade right now. But, I mean, you don't judge it on just a couple games. But, I think you're going to have to wait a year before you actually judge this one. You know what I'm saying? All right. It is time to get into a little hijinks with the one and only Joe Shad and our hijinks sports grill Phinz Postgame Report.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Van Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive one free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
All right, there he is. How you feeling, Shadster?
It's a tough loss, man. That's about as bad as it could have gone.
It's an absolute choke job by the offense. They have been pathetic. If you look at it, really, in the end, all 5 losses this season have to do with the offense, with or without Tua. Today you had Armstead, no excuse. I don't want to hear about, they're flooding the middle of the field and Tua's having issues. Well, if they did it last week, you as a coach have to adjust to it. So then Mike McDaniel's also failing on offense. It's interesting because you look at it, the Dolphin offense had 19 and 20 minutes of time of possession the last 2 weeks, which is a combined 39 and a half minutes. And that's exactly what San Fran had last week. And today the Chargers had 40 minutes. And you're abusing the defense. They're doing the best they can with what they have. They keep you alive every week, and I can point at the offense. In fact, I was actually saying this. Do you know that the Dolphin offense is Amber Heard? Did you know that?
How's that?
Well, she's beautiful. She's hot. Probably there's some great sex one night, but then there's another night where there's a turd in your bed. So it's either Heard or turd, and that's what this offense has actually been. So it's interesting. You can give the offense all the praise, and guess what? You could give the offense all the blame for the 5 losses this season. It's interesting.
So I went into the Dolphins locker room, and I spoke with Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, and they were all very professional, and they were obviously searching for answers. They were all talking about the lack of rhythm, and they were also talking about how the Chargers did some things on defense schematically that were different than what they had shown. And so the coach admitted, I understand, in his post-game press conference, that they were out-schemed on some things. And in speaking to a couple of defensive players, they also suggested that the Chargers did some things from a scheme perspective that caused problems for them. So, listen, Tua was terrible today. I don't know what's wrong. It's 2 games in a row now where he's wildly inaccurate. And,
Terrible.
And he wasn't great in the Houston game. So since the bye, he hasn't been the same player. And I don't know why. I mean, obviously it's a step up in competition. But the Chargers defense, I mean, no excuse. They're terrible. And they have no Joey Bosa. And they don't have the safety Derwin James. They don't have the corner J.C. Jackson. It doesn't make any sense. You have to wonder. I mean, you have to wonder. Would you agree that this is fair, that you have to wonder if Tua is pressing? That it's not
I don't know what he's doing.
That it,
all I know
is,
dude, I don't know what he's doing. He's playing like dog shit.
Well, he didn't just forget how to throw the foot. He didn't just
I didn't say that he forgot or whatever
that's what
it
I'm
is.
saying. Do you think that there's a chance that
or whatever it is, he's playing like dog shit? And Mike McDaniel has coached like dog crap because he coached like dog crap this week. Last week, I gave McDaniel the break because everything was schemed. It was there. Guys were open. Tua missed guys. This week, Tua missed guys again. This week, he missed guys again. But there were moments that these guys were right on top of their receivers. So there were moments that there were tighter windows. So I do get that. I get it. By the way, did you ask Tyreek? Did he lose that one in the lights, the deep ball? Is that what happened?
And I didn't. Okay. I didn't ask that question. He referenced in general that there were a few balls he felt he should have gotten. So,
yeah,
that one may have very well been one of the. It's crazy. We didn't even ask him about setting the record. I don't think he would have been like, "Oh, it's great, but whatever, we didn't win." I mean, what is he going to say? But
right.
I know. But and Jalen Phillips talked about how the referee told him that it was a putting your weight on the player. And I told him that we all thought that was bull crap, and that the officials, the broadcasters thought it was bull crap, and the rules analysts thought it was bull crap. But
Jalen Phillips, Christian Wilkins, and Kader Kohu,
they played great.
Played their asses off, dude.
Yeah, they played great. I wrote about all those guys in my 5 instant takeaways available now on the PalmBeachPost.com, which was very difficult for me to write because I'm having laptop problems. But do you think that facing Herbert might have been on Tua's mind?
Well, yeah, no, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That has to be on his mind for sure. But he's been erratic for a while now, so I'm not giving him that out, bro. I'm not doing that. You played bad, bro. That's it.
It's not. It's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. I'm looking for reasons.
2 weeks, and for whatever reason, and in the Houston game, he was lights out in the first half. It was just after the injuries is where everything kind of fell apart. Is what happened to that offense. But he was, that was a week we all thought that they would attack him with the run, just like today. We thought they're playing a bad run defense, run the hell out of the ball, and then Wilson gets injured too. You know what I mean? So that creates.
Well, they should have run it more. They ran it 19 times. They averaged 4.8 yards per carry. Raheem Mostert got some stuff going. Even Tua got some runs. Even Ahmed got in there with some runs. So I am a little concerned. It's a passing league. We're going to pass to set up the run. But we're supposed to run more than the other teams because they're supposed to have a power running attack. And I know it's tough. You got Teron Armstead wearing a brace, a harness. How effective is he going to be in a running game? That's an interesting thing I just thought of. Armstead told me he got through the game okay. Nothing, no like pain.
Pretty amazing.
Manage.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, guy's a warrior.
Pretty amazing for him to make it through, and he didn't play too bad. He didn't get beat on too many plays. Obviously you do a lot of ball watching when you're watching the game, and then you get to go back and watch the line.
Just a couple plays, yeah. Just a couple plays. This is the worst case scenario for Dolphins fans.
And
not
Tua.
only did they, what I'm saying is, not only did they lose both games here. Now, by the way, the Dolphins could win 3 of their next 4 and still finish 11-6. Okay.
No, I know that.
It's possible. What I'm saying is, beating Justin Herbert is not easy. Now, they should have played better on offense. But what I'm saying is, I was hoping that Tua was going to throw for 380 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the Dolphins were going to sack Justin Herbert 5 times.
Listen, by the way,
and
Justin
X was
Herbert
going to
wasn't
pick six.
anything
It didn't.
special. By the way, he
Dude,
wasn't anything
he was
special
excellent.
today.
Justin Herbert was very good.
He produced one touchdown for 370 yards. He couldn't get in the end zone. He really wasn't that special. What was so unspecial was the Dolphins. Dude, they won by 6 points. And the Dolphins played absolutely horrible, Joe. They had the ball double the amount of time as the Dolphins. And they could only produce 6 more points.
Orlando, I'm just making the point that I'm disappointed. I was hoping.
I know, but
let's listen to the point.
Like Justin
listen
Herbert
to
was
the
the
point.
second coming. He did enough to win, but he wasn't anything great.
You watched the game. You watched the game.
Yeah, I watched the game.
Unfortunately,
he was never challenged.
Unfortunately, he dramatically outperformed Tua, and that sucks. I wish it didn't happen.
I could dramatically outperform Tua the way he played.
Well, Brock Purdy did last week. All right, the last pick in the draft. So we got to get this
ass
straightened out.
Can outperform Tua the way he's played the last 2 weeks. A high school quarterback from Lourdes Academy can kill what Tua did the last 2 weeks. I mean, it's a joke what Tua did today. The outperforming Tua was no challenge at all today. That's where the Chargers and Justin Herbert were super fortunate. The Dolphins had no offense today. You throw for 370 yards and 51 times, and you complete 39 of them, and you end up with 1 touchdown. Come on, man. That's not that impressive. Come on. Really. Now, here's what I want to know. How in the hell do the Dolphins adjust now going into Buffalo? That's what I want you to answer.
Well, first of all, you got to hope that Tyreek Hill's ankle is okay. Second of all, you got to hope that Jeff Wilson's hip is okay. Apparently, after the game, McDaniel indicated that neither injury is severe, which is good. I mean, look, it's going to be very hard to win in Buffalo. It's going to be wind street mix and snow and in the 30s. I mean, Tua has unfortunately not cleared these 2 hurdles on the West Coast. Did not clear the hurdle against the very good 49ers defense. Did not clear the challenge of out. McDaniel said their plan was better than ours and they outplayed us. Yeah, all right.
They did.
I mean, listen, I appreciate that he takes the responsibility, but Tua did not clear the hurdle against the poor Chargers defense. Something's off. Something is off, and we need to get it straight.
What do you think it is?
I don't know.
Because I don't think
it's physical.
This offense the last 2 weeks is going to go to Buffalo and win.
Listen, Tua, head coach Mike McDaniel and offensive coordinator Frank Smith said that in the last game, they felt that some of the players were pressing. Pressing means not physical, mental.
Yeah.
The grand stage, the national spotlight, all the talk. The players in the locker room today were talking about we need to get back to focus on fundamentals and technique. What does that tell you? It tells you that they're trying to say, hey, let's stop overthinking everything and get back to technique. It's a very, Brian Flores Patriots way thing. It's not emotion. Technique and fundamentals are the opposite of emotion, right? Because there's no emotion in technique and fundamentals. So I think that the Dolphins, unfortunately, did not meet the moment in either of these games on the West Coast. It's very unfortunate.
The beginning of the game, did you find it odd that Tua kept forcing it to Tyreek even when there were 3 or 4 guys covering him? When mathematics kind of tell you if there are 3 or 4 guys around Tyreek, that means other guys have got to be open. Like, did you notice that early on in that first quarter? Like he was just forcing it where he didn't really. It was like he needed to get number 10 involved. I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean Waddle and Sherfield and Wilson and Gesicki did nothing. And Waddle had like 1 catch, right? And maybe at least going in the last drive. And he would never say that he was frustrated. You know, I think
No.
because he's frustrated in general. He's frustrated about the offense, not about how many catches he got.
Of course.
I think Waddle's actually not the type to complain, especially when the quarterback is his best.
No, he's not going to do that. No, I'm not. I know that.
And I
asked classy guys.
I asked Waddle about Tua's confidence, and he, of course, said that his confidence will never waver. But I am wondering if it is wavering a little bit. Because if you think about it, when he was at his best, he was uber confident. Yeah. And, you know.
No, and there was a swag to his game. There was a rhythm to his game. And right now,
he seems skittish.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's weird because he's got Armstead in there. He's got, you know, his line was fine. I mean, they got beat a couple of times, but they were fine.
Line wasn't bad last week either, dude.
I would have liked to have seen a few more runs. They did run it 19 times. You know,
you did that, by the way. You did the tape, don't lie. That you saw it. He had more than enough time to make his throws last week too. No matter what. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the kid, but he better figure it out quickly because people like me that have been defending him cannot defend anything that's going on right now. That's for sure. You know,
there's a little bit of the revert to the mean. You know what I mean? Like, it's unrealistic to think that Tua is going to finish first in the NFL in passer rating and passing percentage and yards per attempt. You know, certainly, you know, if the season ends and Tua is in the, you know, top 5 or 6 in passer rating, completion percentage, touchdown to interceptions, but it is also true that the perception of Tua is going to be largely defined by his moments in the San Francisco and Chargers game, and really in the on the road in the cold at Buffalo and Boston.
It's just, dude, you can't be Amber Heard. It can't be Heard or Turd. It can't be those extremes. You know, people can deal with you losing when, okay, you played really well and there was a last-second thing, something happened on special teams, something happened on defense, somebody dropped a football or something, and you lost the game. Oh, but dude, Tua played really well. Okay, great. You know, when you play great, it's great to give you all the compliments. But when you play like shit, we got to call it like you see it. And it can't be those extremes where you're the obvious reason or the main reason why you lost. You know what I mean? It can't be that. You can't. It can't go like that. There can't be those kind of swings. I was just talking about this. Like I just told you at the beginning of our interview, all 5 losses are on the offense. None of them are on the defense. And there were countless games where I remember Marino would.
The defense should be better, though. The defense should be better.
Okay, but there's not
defense
one
should be better. Well, let's get a little more from Bradley Shaw.
Game this, but listen,
get a little
Joe,
more from Javon Holland. Let's get a little more from Jerome Baker.
You're right.
No, I'm asking for a little more. I'm asking for a little more.
No, and Chubb has been
gave
terrible.
Up. Can't pull long passes.
Yeah, no. But listen, there's not one game that you can say, "Oh, dude, the offense played great and the defense let them down." Not one of those games. All 5 games, you say the offense couldn't do it. Offense couldn't do it. Offense couldn't do it. All 5
it's weird.
games.
It's weird because they're top 5 in scoring offense. They're top 5 in yards per play. They're top 5 in passing yards per game. But, you know, they beat the crap out of some bad – they beat the crap out of the Lions and the Bears. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, but
it's hurt or turd. Yeah.
Listen, McDaniel's a smart guy. He has got to make the adjustments now. He's got to make the adjustments. Maybe, you know what? Listen, this is a mindset shift. A lot of pressure, a lot of talk. Now, nobody expects them to beat Buffalo. So, you know what? It releases all the tension. You like that?
I like that, but that's a nice, that's a nice little narrative and storyline you guys can use and all that stuff. But I think for them, I don't know if that shit flies. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that offense is sitting there going, what the hell is going on? And they're looking at each other for answers. And remember Tua said that like 90 plays they went through out of the 700. Well, I think McDaniel needs to go back to that library since he's got 610. And maybe get back to Zig Ziglar and start doing a little bit more motivational stuff there for the next couple days.
I got good news for you.
Okay, what is it?
Marcel from ESPN.
Yes, I've heard of that guy.
He's going to come on after me.
All right, he's ready to go. All right, usually he's a slacker, but okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, Joe, safe in your travels, my brother.
Thanks,
all right,
man.
be good.
Looking forward to getting home. I haven't seen my wife and daughter in 10, 11 days.
Well, they're happy that you weren't around. I'm telling you. I just, you can feel it from here. You can hear the parties and everything from here. Later, brother.
I want to be clear. I wish Tua had outperformed Herbert. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. See you, bud.
Choke job. See you, Joe. That's the Hijinks Sports Grill. Fins up, baby. Post-game report.
This has been the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Joe Shad. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour from 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive 1 free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill.
All right, well, you heard Joe. I mean, he set it up already. Let's go. Let's get the edge with Marcel Louis-Jacques and our myedgedrink.com Fins Up post-game report.
Am I blind? I don't see Marcel.
I thought Marcel was coming on. What's up? Oh, okay. I thought he was ready to go. Well, I guess he's not. Like I told you, he's a slacker. Didn't I tell you he was a slacker? All right. What's next on the super chats here? Frankie says, Big O Herbert played really good. Whether he scored 1 touchdown or 50, he got the job done. He won and no turnovers. Herbert proved you wrong. Oh, yeah, I'm wrong. I'm so wrong. He was so awesome. Yes, he did enough to win. That's fine. And Tua choked. There's not much more for me to say, bro. I can't defend him at all. I can't make excuses, and I'm not going to make excuses. Kid failed miserably. All right, let's go to the man. He's got a jacket and everything. You can tell he's on the road and everything. ESPN, big shot. Let's go. Let's get the edge with Marcel Louis-Jacques.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's ESPN Dolphin Insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right. How you doing, baby? You doing fine?
I'm doing fine. A little chillier than I expected down at field level. You know, they say it is open air. It is open air. I underestimated just how much of that air makes its way down there. But other than that, you know, can't believe this dream road trip is over.
Did you see Johnny Depp down there at any point?
I did not. Also, we got to clarify there. Dream for me. Not so much a dream for the Dolphins. This has been a road trip from hell.
Well, that's why I'm telling you. Did you know that the new name for the Dolphin offense is the Amber Heard offense?
I did not.
Oh yeah. Now, you know, Amber Heard, she's a pretty girl, kind of crazy. Maybe some pretty good sex, right? Because crazy girls, man, you know, that's the thing they say about crazy girls, right? And so you'll have your Dolphin offense that will throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and 5 touchdowns and 6 touchdowns sometimes. And it looks beautiful, just like Amber Heard. And then there are other nights where you go to your bed and there's a big turd in it. It's the herd of the turd. And that's kind of what this entire season has been about. The offense can get the success and the accolades for everything. And guess what? You got to give them the blame for all 5 losses. It's amazing. It's herd or turd for the Dolphin offense. These are the extremes that Mike McDaniel and his offense have been putting the Dolphin fan base on this year. What do you think about that?
I think that, and I wrote this in my takeaway. I'm not going to touch any Amber Heard stuff because I value my job, but they're failing their December exam. We said entering the month, we're going to learn a lot about the Dolphins. This is this is their chance to prove it. Blah 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 blah. December football, most important. All this, they are failing their finals right now. They cruised during they cruised through syllabus week. They got a good grade on their midterm. They blew their midterm out of the water, and then it almost feels like they stopped studying for their final. That they said, you know what, we've already done this before. We've learned this before. I don't see the need to study again for the final. It's already up there. And you know what they did? The final, they did it on chapters 13, 14, 15, and you stop reading at 12. So they look totally out of sync, totally out of place, out of rhythm. And for a rhythm-based offense, if you can't have rhythm and you can't get in rhythm, then you look like that. You look like you did tonight against a middling, injury-depleted, star-free defense. No Derwin James, no Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
And
listen, by the way, I told Shad, and I know Chris Collinsworth practically made love to Herbert, and I know he played well, but really 370 yards and 1 touchdown.
Okay.
It wasn't like he lit you up. So
No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Justin Herbert was excellent tonight, and it wasn't just in the touchdown and point numbers. His ability to extend plays, snap in and snap out, was
did nice.
Top of the line. We just talked about.
Dude, he beat a terrible Dolphins team by 6 points. Please.
The Dolphins over the past 5 weeks are 4th in EPA, defensive EPA. Like, they haven't been playing horribly on defense over the past month or so.
I'm not blaming the defense at all. I'm the guy that defends Josh Boyer in the defense. I just told you the 5 losses are all on the offense. Every single one. You can't name one game where you said, wow, the offense kicked ass, but the defense let them down. Dude, you can't say that. Dude. Every game you have to say the offense let you down. All 3 games without Tua and these 2 games with Tua. The offense lets this team down. Josh Boyer and the defense have actually done a really good job for you to be undefeated this year.
With the exception, with the exception of one play, and I say it on here a lot, surrender football has consequences. Surrender football, by my definition, is playing not to lose, not playing to win. 3rd and 17 from the Dolphins 17. They send 8 back in coverage, 8 back to block the goal line, basically.
Right.
Chargers run a 16-yard screen because of
poorly
course
executed.
They did. Why would you not?
They're a bad tackling team. Yeah.
That's surrender. Like, little things like that. Games come down to like 3 or 4 play.
That had nothing to do with the game, anyways. So you win by 3.
They lost.
You win by 3 and not 6. Do the math, my brother. So you
surrender football has
you win by 3 and by 6,
and you go into halftime without all that momentum. You go into halftime not having to protect against a team that just scored.
What you think? You think this team, this offense, is going to pick momentum? That's more mental masturbation on your part. Come on, dude. Let's talk about something that really mattered here. 3rd and 16 defense had nothing to do with this game whatsoever. Is it a
3rd and 17 defense? A 3rd and 17 defense. A 3rd and 17 play that led to a touchdown 1 play later had nothing to do with the outcome of the game. What was the final? 23-17?
By 6. So you lose by 2 instead of 6? Do the math. You're not down by
10 or whatever going into half. You're down by.
This team wasn't going to win anything, Marcel. They
First
sucked.
of all,
Tua threw for 145 yards. He was 10 of 28, Marcel. What are you kidding yourself, dude?
First of all,
we're not winning anything.
I said with the exception of 1 play. I'm talking about 1 play when picking apart the defense, and it was Surrender football. They played surrender football for a play, and it had an immediate consequence. And two, we're not gonna gaslight my take here when 4 minutes ago you're trying to brush off Justin Herbert's 370 yards as if he didn't light this team up every freaking time he touched the field today. This was the end. No, this is the end. I've seen it with my own eyes now. I can't be convinced anymore. I've seen it.
So if the Dolphins
it's the end of that debate. It's the end of that debate.
Okay, no, I get it. You can end that debate if you want. Okay, that's fine. My point is, if the Dolphins offense shows up, do the Chargers win?
I don't know.
I appreciate you were quiet long enough.
If I got paid, because I'm trying to figure out how to adequately relay to you how little I care about the word if. If this, if that. If Justin Herbert only threw for 20 yards, then the Chargers probably would have lost. But who cares about if?
Why did the Dolphins lose?
They couldn't get off the field on third down, and they couldn't generate any sort of freaking drive for the second game in a row. Really, second and a half game in a row. They were not good second half against Houston.
No offense.
Second half against Houston.
No
but
offense.
I have to get the point across. I have to get the point across that I have now seen it in person. It's different than watching it on TV. I have seen Herbert in person now.
Okay.
We're talking about talent and playing the quarterback position. The guy is top 5. The guy was incredible tonight. I don't care about how many points it went to. I don't care how many points he led, how many they left on the board, this, that, and the third. I saw this man, his pocket awareness, man, is way beyond what I expected of him. I don't watch a ton of Justin Herbert. I don't watch a ton, man. I cover the Dolphins. It's part of my job is not to sit here and pick apart Justin Herbert week in, week out. So I knew what I've seen, which is that he's got a plus arm. That, of course. Yeah. I did not know how aware he was on the field. I mean, it must have been what if I told you that the Dolphins set a new season high in quarterback pressures tonight? Would you believe that? Yeah. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. A new season high in pressures tonight.
Yes.
And that man still had 370 yards.
Wilkins and Phillips alone were the main guys that were pressuring the entire night. Yes.
Like for that guy to be able to play like he did under the pressure he was facing, relentless, 24 blitzes, I think the Dolphins dialed up tonight. And then for Tua on the other side to play the game that he did, it was a dark day for the Tua versus Herbert argument. But like when we asked the question, when I saw it on social media, some people brought it up. When people are upset and confused why the Chargers didn't ask Justin Herbert about being compared to Tua, I just saw why. Tua's been awesome this season. He was far from it tonight, and Justin Herbert was. That's the reality. That's the reality that we have to live in right now. Justin Herbert was awesome tonight. Tua was not. They're going into a game next week against a defense that's hot right now. That's won 4 in a row. They get a little bit of a break against the Packers. Then they've got the Patriots on the road, and they've got the Jets on the road. That's 3 defenses in their last 4 games that all rank in the top 10 in terms of yards allowed per play. For an offense that is struggling to find its rhythm now in the most important part of the season, this doesn't look good. I wasn't willing to even sniff the panic button last week.
Say it with me. The Dolphins lost because Tua sucked. Say it with me.
The Dolphins lost because Tua sucked tonight. Tua sucked tonight.
Herbert was not challenged tonight. That's it.
Herbert was. He was challenged in the sense that people were in his face every play.
No, he wasn't. He didn't have an offense that outscored him and forced him to have to play catch up at all. He was not challenged at all today, and that was the result of it. So Miami lost because Tua sucked. Mike McDaniel sucked today. Last week I lay it on Tua. This week I lay it on Tua and McDaniel. I thought he poorly prepared his team this week for them.
The interesting thing I heard from Mike after the game, I asked him, "Hey, does struggling like this at this time of year cause any elevated concern. Obviously, like, you're not happy anytime you lose, but the fact that it's happening now when games you can't afford to really lose, like, what does that do? He says, no, like, the loss is going to hurt when it hurts. But he mentioned that this is probably the furthest from the mark the Dolphins have ever been when it comes to pregame expectation and postgame results. They fully expected, at least they prepared like it, they fully expected to win this game. I do not know what this team did throughout the week after practice. I do not know if they were thrown off by not being able to go home, if they were thrown off by being out. I don't know any of that. I don't want to give credence to putting that in the world. I do not know how they were prepared.
No excuse.
But this was
no excuse.
This was possibly, I'm trying to think. It's up there with the Jaguars loss last year and the Falcons loss last year in terms of the most disappointed I have been in this team.
No excuse. None.
They had none. They had
none.
They had none.
Yay.
They had none. And you've got to be, and from McDaniel's perspective, yeah, he's not absent of blame. He deserves his share of the blame tonight. This week. Last week, there were plays to be made into him.
He schemed it beautifully last week. Guys were open. If you go back and look at that tape, guys were open. Tua just missed wide open guys. This week he made his mistakes. The receivers made a few mistakes themselves, and I thought McDaniel did not really scheme them well enough this week. And knowing that this guy's hurt in Tyreek, you got to start using said a little more, man. You were going to use him as your number 2 in the first place. He's the most expensive fair catch guy in the history of the NFL. I mean, come on, dude. Get more people involved.
Look, this was bad. I think that, considering, I thought that what the Niners did because of who they have at linebacker, I thought that kind of performance was unique to that defense. But they're about to play the one defense that could sort of mimic it with Milano. Milano's playing like an all-pro right now. Jermaine Edmonds is right on that bubble as well. They're two fast guys. They cover a lot of ground. They're going to take away the middle of the field once again. And nothing that they've done over the past 2 weeks, Miami, has shown the world that they can operate without attacking the middle of the field. Like,
the Zodiac Killer? You remember the Zodiac Killer?
I don't think I was alive. I've seen the movie though. I don't think I was alive.
You have, right? Well, when he died, his spirit came into Milano because he's killing quarterbacks left and right, bro. You saw what he did to Mike White today?
I gasped.
He assassinates quarterback, bro.
I was at breakfast and literally gasped, said, "Oh my God," and pulled it up for everybody at the table to watch. That was he is.
I hit twice.
I can't believe Mike White got back up. I can't believe Mike White got back up multiple times. I think he went to the hospital to make sure there's no internal damage there. Let me see things I liked. I liked Tua scrambling. I feel like that's not something that he's done a lot of ever since the concussion. Rightfully, he got hell for doing it. I liked him stepping up and just making plays however possible. When I'm talking about, a big thing that we said last week was the next step for Tua is being able to create outside of the structure of your offense, and scrambling like that and making plays like that. That is how you do it. It's not science. It's more art than science. There's no set plan. Okay, you scramble for this long and this guy should be open. Like, you kind of got to feel it out. And that's part of, what makes guys great is following their instincts. But like, if you want a blueprint on how to create outside the structure of your offense and how to make things happen outside the structure of your offense, replay the Justin Herbert tape over and over again. That's exactly what he did all game. That's the only thing I could think of when I was watching him do that was, this is the next step for Tua. Like, that's what's separating Tua and Justin Herbert as individual talents right now, is Herbert's ability to create like that. I want to see that from Tua.
I think they have better play design for their guys than Mike McDaniel.
They got out coached on both sides.
They got out coached today, bro.
I think they'll admit that. I don't know about happily admit that, but I think they'll admit that. You
I don't.
can't help it.
You know what? I don't give a shit if they admit it or not. I watched it. I've been
Warrior
watching
said-
football for a long freaking time, and I said last week I didn't blame McDaniel. This week, McDaniel gets a whole lot of that blame ass pie. Okay, because I'm handing it to him. All right.
Warrior sent blitz after blitz after blitz at
Warrior
the
did
Chargers,
great,
and
bro.
he just sidestepped it and moved on. That
Warrior
dude,
did great.
the throw from the right hash to Mike Williams, that like 55 yards on a dime. Somebody tried to tell me X got whooped or X got cooked or something on that play.
Yes.
No.
X
He was a
X-
yard and a half away. He was a yard and a half away at the time of the catch. He wasn't.
I think
cooked.
I think you misunderstood him. I think you're
He
telling
got
me
beat.
that no, X is cooked. I think is what they were trying to tell you.
Well,
Because
got to clarify because that was
right now. Cater Kohu is the best corner on the Miami Dolphins.
I want to be clear though. Neither Cater nor X were awesome tonight by any metric. Pick a receiver.
Awesome.
Keenan Allen
All
caught
I'm
12 of
saying
14.
is if I
Williams
compare
caught
the
all
two-
6. Like it was
but X forgets to even tackle people and touch them. So it's.
But the thing,
what he did on that play was just ridiculous. I mean,
the thing on this, the thing about that you got to remember though, like when looking at these stats, like you can't cover forever, and so when a quarterback can extend plays like that, like you're more likely to be open because like you're already at a disadvantage. You're at basically a ticking clock as a defender as soon as that snap starts, like a ticking clock in terms of how long you can do this.
When he's on the ground, you touch him, Marcel.
Well,
That's the rule. That's the rule, Marcel. You touch him. You don't allow him to get up and get 10 or 15 more yards, Marcel. I'm just saying. That's all. I mean, he should have known that from like Pee Wee League and stuff. I'm just, come on. Touch. Come on. All right. What do you got going on ESPN so folks can check you out, dude?
Man, I might be a little quiet tomorrow, traveling home all day, but I think two things. One, we need to take a look at this offense, and number two, we need to talk about what the hell the Christian Wilkins bag is about to look like this offseason. Whether it's Miami doing it or somebody else, that man is getting paid. The man is getting paid this offseason. So that's top of my head. But I got to run. I got to go shoot something for I think SportsCenter is asking before they shut the lights off here. I'm gonna go show this foot off one last time. It's a good one tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out to Haley.
The two haters are loving these 2 weeks, baby. They're loving these 2 weeks. All right, Marcel.
This was all Emmanuel Acho's fault.
Yeah, that's it. Be safe in your travels.
Appreciate it. See y'all.
You got it. Don't forget Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com. Get the finest energy drink on the planet. Can't get it in a store. Got to go to myedgedrink.com and get 10% off. All right. And get it shipped to you there, to your home, to your office. The most delicious energy drink on the planet. 78 calories. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. And I'm not lying. When I tell you zero aftertaste, I mean it. Zero aftertaste. myedgedrink.com.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
Adam Pinkster says, I'm having PTSD to the Wanstead days. Seeing this performance against the Chargers team with a bunch of starters are an absolute BS. I'm with you, Adam. I mean, it's disgusting, and thank you for the Venmo. Remember, you can send a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. Armando Swaim says, which offensive lineman will be gone next year, and why can't we run the ball? Well, I mean, listen, I don't think that running was going to save them that much. It would help some in this game, but, it just I'm so disappointed in the offensive on the passing game with Tua that, to me, I just can't get past that to worry about the running game or that was going to be the difference. Although Wilson was looking like he was chugging along. I will say that. Joy Delgadillo says, thanks for your honesty. Tua will get back on track, guaranteed. I hope so. I hope so. Tua underthrew the ball again, says Steve M, and you can see he'll have to come back for it, and that gets his feet tangled. Go ahead, lie and tell us he threw him out front. Please tell people that. We'll tell him that just for you, Steve M. Thank you for the Venmo, as always, Steve M. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. If you want to send in a Cash App or Venmo and your hate for Tua, as Steve M is enjoying every failed second for Tua the last 2 weeks. That's the thing, man. Tua has now fueled all those folks out there. And guys like me that defend him and believe in him, I can't defend this. Sean, where do we leave off with these super chats? Because I know a couple came in. Topher, this is what happens when you wide receiver one Tyreek Hill goes on a podcast, runs AKA media run instead of going to practice. I mean, he wasn't sharp as he should be, but man, that passing game has just been so bad with Tua, and I don't know what Mike McDaniel's doing, but he better fix that quickly. Thank you, Topher. Appreciate you. Next up is Malkowick. Let Marcel speak, Big O. Yeah, I do, but sometimes you gotta just they come in with this craziness sometimes, and I get it, bro. Herbert played well, but please, he played well because the Dolphins were so bad. If the Dolphin offense actually can challenge, it would have put Herbert in a real disadvantage. That's the part that people don't see. I get it. It's 370 yards, but it's one touchdown. You kept failing in the red zone, and they even stopped you on fourth downs. I mean, come on, dude. It's you were playing a team with no offense, and you couldn't blow them out. You beat them by 6 points. A terrible Dolphin offense, like the offense from the last 2 weeks reminds me of last year's offense. That's what it looks like. It looks like last year's offense, and you have completely different talent. So it's however you want to, spin the whole thing. If you want to make it look like he was glorious and he was amazing, and yes, he threw for 370 yards, but I'm not here to make it look like he dominated and he won the game and he outdueled somebody. No, dude, Tua didn't even show up to the damn game. He was 10 of 28. Tua was pathetic. There's nothing more to say. Tua and Mike McDaniel lost this game. Herbert didn't win it. The Chargers didn't win it. The Dolphins gave them the damn game. They played like dog crap. You're never going to win against anybody playing that kind of offense. They lost by 6 points by playing no offense whatsoever. They had the ball for 20 minutes. The Chargers had it for 39-38. And all they could do is score 6 more points. I'm not exactly sure what people are seeing, but I get the narrative, dude. Tua is not believed in. He's a small guy, got no arm, this, that, and Herbert is the god and everything. And I get it. He made a lot of nice throws. But in the big picture, in games that would matter against better offenses, he would have lost that game every single time. When you play an offense this bad, you should blow them out by 20 points. He won by 6. Whatever, man. I get it. Herbert is God and Tua sucks and all that. And so we'll go into that. All right, next up. Any other ones? Marcus Guerrero. Here's some charity, Big L. Feels so bad he has to pretend that Tua is a franchise QB for his blind listeners. So embarrassing. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate it. We'll try to get some LASIK for our listeners. And also hearing aids, because it's also listening too. Steve Rowe, thank you for the love on the super chat. Armstead was off, worried about that Bills D-line. Worried. You should be terrified, dude. This Dolphin offense is going to Buffalo. This game is already over before it even started. This Dolphin team has zero chance to win in Buffalo. Zero. None. They're going to get killed. You want to see what a real quarterback and a real offense does this week? You're going to see it. Buffalo ain't going to win by 3 or 6 points. If this Dolphin offense shows up from the last 2 weeks, they're losing by 25. Okay? Because Josh is going to throw 4 or 5 touchdowns on the Dolphins. If this is the offense that shows up, it's over. Forget about it. They got no shot on Saturday. None. Forget about being worried. This game is over, dude. Okay? You played a young quarterback last week that had no experience, and you still had a game late. And this week, you played a guy that, yeah, he put up some yards, but he really didn't put up any points on you. And you still lost. You had every chance. This coming week, you're playing a guy in an offense that can light your ass up like a lamp, like a nice Christmas tree. Okay? If this is the offense that shows up, Josh Allen will not play what you just saw this week. He'll throw for 300 or 350, but it won't be 1 touchdown. I can guarantee you that. You guys want to see what a real quarterback's going to look like? You're going to see it next week if this is the team that you're going to get. I feel terrible for this defense. It's a crime what the Dolphin offense has done to this defense. An absolute freaking crime. Seriously. Sam Cavison, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. The only way to beat Buffalo is short and quick passes, get rid of the ball, quick, move the chains. Well, I don't know if they can do that right now. They're not showing me that right now. Right now, Tua is not showing me any kind of confidence in the passing game. I hope something changes drastically. You better get back to the team that, won 5 in a row and was dealing, or the team that started the season. You better get back to being that team. If it's the offense, I'm sorry, not the team. If it's the offense of the last 2 weeks, they stand zero chance of winning on Saturday. Zero. Chase Barrett. Weather next week might be our saving grace. Even Mahomes can't throw nonstop downfield all day. Work the short game, and we'll be back. Snow will force us to. You can do all that too. If that helps you sleep at night, Chase, I appreciate the super chat. Weather will not have nothing to do with it. Rain, snow, sun. I don't care. If you don't have confidence, if you're not playing well, I don't care what the conditions are, you're going to lose. And that's what I'm seeing right now with that offense. That offense is not going to get you anywhere. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and all of a sudden convince myself of something that it doesn't exist. Okay? This team cannot show up like that this week. They have to change, and they have to find the rhythm that they had before. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they better do it. They cannot resemble anything that they've done the last 2 weeks. I mean, they are the Amber Heard offense, right? It's a herd or a turd. They go from one extreme to another. Let's pray that they can go to the other extreme this week against Buffalo, because if they don't stand a chance. You cannot show up the way they've played the last 2 weeks on offense. It's over. They have to wake up somehow, some way. McDaniel better get it back on track too, okay? Because all of a sudden, McDaniel also will be looked at as a fraud. Because, okay, well then, he had some success, and they figured him and his guy out, and now he can't do anything. That's what's going to happen. That's next. It's not just Tua. This is also going to fall on McDaniel. They must correct this immediately. Okay? Immediately. Those of us that believe in Tua, like myself, we can't defend any of this. I can't sit here and make any excuses for Tua that he's injured or whatever, or that the line and that you don't have this. Or no, he has everything that he needs to win the last 2 weeks. And I've said that he can be a great quarterback in this league, but I can't defend what I see there. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie to myself and lie to you guys and say, oh, yeah, no, don't worry about it. It's just a speed bump here. No, he's never been through any of this stuff. So he has to show us that he can get through this hell like a lot of quarterbacks go through. They go through phases where they play bad for a week or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but then they get back on track and they find a way to, get it going. Well, you've had 2 terrible weeks, Tua. You got to wake up, dude. We can't make excuses. Okay? So for those of us that believe in him, he's got to prove us right. Because right now, he's proven all the doubters and the haters right. Now they go back to, well, okay, that was a lucky streak and things went well for him, this, that. Now the defenses have picked up and he has failed this. And what are you going to do? I got nothing to counter it. And I'm not going to counter it because there's nothing to counter. You got to call it like you see it. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And I'm hoping he succeeds, not only because I believe in him and all that, but because the Dolphins need it badly. They need a franchise quarterback. And this is all part of it. And you know what? If he can get out of this, it actually bodes well for the future because then that means future slumps, which they all have them, he'll be able to get out of it because this will be a point of reference. So it's time for him to make this a point of reference and move on. But boy, he's got one hell of a week to try to move on against the damn Bills. That's insanity, quite frankly. Let's see. What else? We suck on the road. I am not even watching Miami next week. Well, come on, man. That's not I get it. All the negative stuff in the world is coming to an end and all that. I get it. We're not trying to go with receiver screens with the DBs and linebackers playing and dropping deeper. Hey, man, McDaniel deserves a lot of criticism for this week. He got outcoached this week, man. You are countering by minimizing Herbert's performance. Yeah, dude, 6-point win. I'm not that impressed. He made a bunch of nice throws, but he got lucky that he played a shit team on offense. And they possessed no challenge whatsoever. A terrible Dolphins offense, and he only beat them by 6 points. Yeah, I don't really find that impressive. But that's fine, bro. That's part of this whole Tua Herbert thing, and the Herbert lovers are going to talk about it and all that. So what am I more impressed with? Herbert's performance against the Dolphins or Tua's performance against the Ravens down by 21? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm talking about. It's not, there was no challenge in this game because the Dolphin offense never showed up. And if the Dolphin offense showed up, then we have a game, and then we got something to talk about. But it's not that he outdueled the Dolphins. The Dolphins never showed up. So he had nothing to outduel in the end. But that's fine. He was the second coming. He was amazing. Oh, my God. He was so fantastic. Marcel, I think, wants autographs and everything. He saw it in person. He was so wowed by it. Wowed by 370 yards and 1 touchdown. Wowed by beating a really shitty Dolphin offense by 6 measly points. Yeah, no, it's wowed. I know. God. I can't believe it myself. Christian Hernandez, Herbert, terrible Dolphin offense because of Tua. Haha. Charger fans don't even hate Tua. You Dolphin fans are just delusional. I don't think anybody hates Herbert. I think we kind of go after the Herbert believers. That's what it is, really. It's not really about Herbert. Herbert just gets the shrapnel from the believers. Because, again, they'll be bragging today like today was, oh, my God, it was amazing. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, 370 yards, 1 touchdown. Yeah. Absolutely fantastic, dude. I mean, I was so impressed by it all. Frankie Fresco, thank you. Sending in a little Bitcoin. Yeah, baby. Those are our favorite donations. Remember, you can make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And he says Justin Herbert was the best player on the field today. Yeah. Him and Christian Wilkins, I would say. Yeah. I would go with Herbert, the best player on the field. Christian Wilkins, a really close second. God, he played his ass off. That was really cool to see the way Christian Wilkins played. He played absolutely phenomenal. Really impressed with him. I feel bad for him because the offense is the one that continues to let them down. Getting out coached by the Chargers bum coach is not good. Big D? Facts. McDaniel does not get a pass from this show this week. And he shouldn't. This was his worst game of the year as a coach. That's what I saw. And if I go back and look at the tape this week, I know I'm going to see even more that will bother me. Christian Hernandez, and what did Tua do against one of the worst-ranked defenses in the Chargers? What will you say when and if Tua don't make the playoffs? I'll say what have I said the last 2 games here, sir? What did I say, Christian? What did I say Tua has done the last 2 games? I said he choked, right? I haven't changed. I've been very honest about it. Tua has been an absolute failure the last 2 weeks. And he has nobody to blame but himself when he looks in the mirror. I'll give McDaniel some of the blame this week also with Tua. A lot of the blame with Tua. Last week, it's all Tua. And I said it last week, it was all Tua. I'm pretty sure I said it all throughout the week that it was Tua. But, I mean, you can listen, Christian, I appreciate the super chat. You can hear whatever you want to hear, my brother. And that way you can create, that false anger and that, that you're sending the super chat with some anger and challenging me. Like I'm not saying it when I've just said that Tua has choked for 2 games in a row. Okay. And there's no bigger Tua supporter than I am, but I'm not going to make excuses for the young man. Can't. So, and if they don't make the playoffs, whoo, doggy, now that is a Ryan Tannehill type of performance. So if Tua Tagovailoa doesn't want to be associated with Ryan Tannehill, he better make the playoffs. Okay, there's 4 games left, right? They're 8-5, right? 4 games left. 8-5, 13. They got 4 games left. Well, you better make the playoffs. That's all I know. There's no excuses. Tua and Mike McDaniel must make the playoffs. I said Mike McDaniel had to make the playoffs before the season started. They inherited a 9-10 win team. You're supposed to fix the offense. So you fix the offense, you should be 2 to 3 wins better. That's how my math works. If you're not, then you failed as a coach. And Tua, you failed as a quarterback. All the stats don't mean anything to me. Don't care what your passer rating is. I don't care if you end up in the top 5 if you're not in the playoffs. Because again, like I've repeated, Christian, since you don't listen, I've blamed the offense for all 5 losses, the 2 with Tua and the 3 without. And Mike McDaniel gets the blame for all 5. Josh Boyer doesn't get 1 ounce of blame for the entire season. Not 1 ounce. Not 1 game is on the defense. Not 1. Every game is on Mike McDaniel and his Amber Heard offense. Master at Work says, thank you for the love in the super chat, by the way. Why Dolphin fans so surprised? Your late season collapse is right on schedule. 23 seasons, 0 playoff wins, incoming only, second worst to the Lions. And guess what? Dolphin Nation, you got to suck on that. Until proven otherwise, that's what you're going to get. What did I tell you today? That Tua was playing against who? Himself, and he failed. Because now he's going to get all the heat now. NFL Network, ESPN, everybody will get off of the Tua train now, and now they'll say he's not the guy, and he's and all that. And guess what? You gave him Tua gave them all the material to now doubt him over the last 2 weeks. Primetime games, important games, and you choked so badly that what else are you going to say? We're going to find out now. We're going to find out. And if you get your asses kicked this week, listen, if you go to Buffalo at least, and if you lose a respectable game, I think people can at least accept that, because obviously Buffalo is the creme de la creme with Kansas City in the league. But if you go up there and you get your asses handed to you, oh, man. Wow. Yeah. Get ready for the heat, because it's going to be turned up in a big, big time way. What else do we have here? Man, Big O just went comparing Tua to Joe Montana to comparing him to Tannehill. That's a huge drop. Well, my brother, if you missed the playoffs and you were 8-3 and you missed the playoffs, that's as Ryan Tannehill as it gets. I can't say you're Joe Montana. I can't give my boy the Joe Montana label if you miss the playoffs. That's Ryan Tannehill at its finest. Right there. That's, you're 9-5, right? And the Jets and the Bills are left, 2 bad teams in those days. And all you had to do was win one of those games. And Ryan Tannehill could not show up in those games. I mean, I don't want to compare to that. But if you don't make the playoffs this year and you were 8-3, I can't give you a break on that, dude. You can't. Sorry. I root for the kid. I want him to do well, but if I'm wrong, I'm going to tell you I'm wrong. And that's it. You got to call it like you see it. There's plenty of times I'm going to be right, like I tell you guys, and there's plenty of times I'm going to be wrong also. But I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for Tua. Okay? He's got to carry his weight. And he has not carried his weight the last 2 weeks, and that's why his team has lost. And he's got nobody to blame but himself. So, find a way. Enough of the excuses. In fact, there are no excuses. So, next time, Christian, listen. Christian says, first time listening to you, does MIA not have a run game, and can they not throw outside the hash marks? Might be getting predictable. Well, Martha Beers, thank you, Martha, for the super chat. I appreciate you. If we beat the Patriots and Jets, we're in no matter what happens with the other teams. If Hill isn't healthy, I would just concede the division to Buffalo and get ready for those last 3 games. But you're not conceding the division to Buffalo already? Big O, now you know why some of us longtime fans worry when December rolls around, because the rest of the year doesn't seem to matter if they don't win when it counts. Yeah. Yeah. And I don't blame you. So we'll find out. We'll find out. Listen, right now, it doesn't look good. Okay? But is it over? No. I'm not going there yet. Okay? There's 4 games to redeem yourself. You got a hell of a game to redeem yourself this week. You beat the Bills, and you're pretty much redeeming yourself. You're probably going to have to beat the Bills to redeem yourself. And they've got other wins that they can pick up and get into the playoffs and then win a game in the playoffs. So there's still plenty of tests left to find out if this team has got, on offense, the balls it needs in order to get it done. We're going to find out. But I'm not ready to give up on them. I'm pissed. I'm incredibly disappointed in Mike McDaniel today. I am incredibly disappointed in Tua Tagovailoa the last 2 weeks. That's the only thing I can't say anything else about it. No excuses, just disappointment. Severe disappointment in Tua. Okay? He choked. That's what he did the last 2 games. He has flat out choked. Big games, big moments, and he choked. He's had big games, and he's come through like the Ravens on the road, like the Bills this year, like even the Patriots to start the season. Overall, he's had his moments where he's had excellent plays. But this last 2 weeks, these were tests for him, and he failed. That's all we can say. Nothing more, nothing less. But am I quitting on the kid? No. He's come back from way too much for me to quit on the kid. So I'm going to give Mike McDaniel the opportunity to prove to us that he can correct the issue. And we're going to see if Tua can turn around his play and start to play well. Like I said, next week, of course you want to win. But more than anything else next week, you better play well. That's your goal next week. Winning would be nice, but if you lose, it cannot be what we've witnessed the last 2 weeks. It has to be a loss where you go down, and you go down playing hard, playing well, and that the other team was just better because they're the Bills and they usually are better. Because talent-wise, they are. Okay? But that's their goal next week. They better play well. That's what they haven't done on offense. And then we'll find out if he can redeem himself. We'll find out if Mike McDaniel and his staff can redeem themselves on offense. This is a nice gut check time for them now. Because if they were reading the press clippings about how much better they are and how much Vegas had them favored on the road and all that stuff, and now they lost, well, now this offense can start looking at themselves in the mirror. They can start to challenge themselves, because that's what they're going to need to do. We're going to find out if they all have what it takes now to get it done. Okay? Now you've painted yourself in an uncomfortable picture. You win the last 2 weeks. You could have lost to Buffalo this week on a short week. People would have given you the break and would have said, all right, that's cool, man. But they got the San Fran game. They got this game against the Chargers, and now they lost to Bills. Okay, that's understandable, man. 3 road games. You're on the road away from your family, all that kind of stuff. That's really difficult for anybody. We can understand that they lose one of the 3. Now you're on the brink of losing all 3. There's no way this can be a good look. There's no way you can spin it. There's no way you can make excuses for it. And guess what? There's nothing to be made. There are no excuses to be made for Tua, none to be made for McDaniel, none to be made for the offense. They got to wake the hell up. Period. Topher, Tyreek played like a guy who skipped practice all week. I thought I read that already. Who skipped practice all week to podcast and film TikToks. Did you send that in twice, Topher? But thank you. Thank you for sending in a second super chat. But I did read that the first time around. Or maybe it was a regular text of yours. I'm not sure. Let's see. What else do we have? Another problem is why Tua throws to Hill when he's triple covered. He did that several times. Yeah, he has. And I mentioned it. All right, we're out of here. We thank Marcel Louis-Jacques. We thank Joe Shad. We thank Lee Sterling. Don't forget, please, to smash the hell out of the like button. Get us over 1,000, man. We're way short there, man. Let's go. We've had lots of people watching, so appreciate it. Hang in there. I know it sucks, dude, and it's going to suck even worse this week. And guess what? Dolphins get what they deserve, unfortunately. You know, we got no choice. And I know for the Dolphin Nation, this is really tough because it just tells you like same old Dolphins. And we were hoping that Mike McDaniel and Tua could change that. And they brought it back. So they kind of need to put this thing away here in the next 4 weeks. Okay? It would be nice for Dolphin fans to feel better about their football team. And right now, they are not feeling good, man. All right, we are out of here. Appreciate all of you out there. Please hit the like button on your way out, man. Thank you so much for supporting us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Tired as hell. Voice will be burned out probably. I'll need some rest, but we'll do our best. We love you all out there. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Y'all be good.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Postgame Show on the Sports Talk 305 Network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Show. From home to kitchen to bathroom additions and remodelings. Get in contact with one of the best contractors in the business. Call Eric at EJDconstruction.com. 305-433-4843. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. On behalf of all our staff, we thank you for supporting us. Have a fantastic week.